two flowers bloom, each on its own branch. Let's pick up the story from when the Supreme Lord Laozi ascended to the heavens from Hangu Pass in the year of Jian. But just 1 year later, in the Yumao year, the old master grew restless sitting in his celestial palace of Tai Wei. So with a flick of divine will, he sent a strand of his spirit, Bai, straight down to the mortal realm to be reborn into a wealthy family in Chengdu, western Shu. That family's name was Li. Of course, this was no accident. Long before his descent, Lord Lao had already made arrangements. He summoned a majestic azure dragon and gave a command. No more flying around like a dragon, go down and become a sheep. Without hesitation, the dragon twisted its form and transformed into a gleaming, sky blue and gold sheep, radiant, otherworldly, and full of spirit. This mystical sheep, now just a small lamb, became the favorite companion of the newborn boy of the Li family. The baby giggled joyfully whenever the lamb was near, and wailed uncontrollably when it wasn't. The two were inseparable, and the little sheep would trot circles around the crib, its bright eyes full of gentleness and loyalty. Then, one day, disaster. The sacred lamb was gone. The Li household was thrown into chaos. Servants scrambled in all directions, desperately searching every alley and market square. Finally, a young servant boy spotted it at a bustling market. Overjoyed, he took hold of the lamb and began leading it home. Just then, a dusty traveler arrived in the city of Chengdu, none other than Yinxi, the former guardian of Hangu Pass. He had been searching far and wide, asking everyone he met, "Excuse me, do you know where I can find Qingyang Si?" Qingyang, meaning blue sheep, Si as in a hall or temple. People all shook their heads. "Never heard of it," they said. Just as he was growing puzzled, Yinxi happened to glance ahead and froze. There, walking down the street, was a young boy leading a magnificent sheep, shimmering in blue gold glory, unlike anything from this world. Yinxi's heart skipped a beat. The blue sheep and a marketplace, could it be? Could Si actually mean market instead of temple? A sudden clarity flooded his mind. This must be the place my master foretold. This is the fated moment. He rushed forward and gently stopped the servant. "Young lad, whose sheep is this? Where are you taking it?" The boy, surprised by the traveler's presence, but sensing no threat, answered politely, "Oh, this is my young master's precious lamb. It's been missing for 2 whole days. He cried so hard his voice went hoarse. We just found it at the market, and I'm taking it home to cheer him up." Yinxi's heart pounded in his chest. He leaned closer, trying to stay calm. "Please, would you do me a favor? When you return, tell your young master that Yinxi has arrived. Just say my name. That's all, please." The boy nodded and ran off with the sheep. Once home, he ran to the nursery where the baby was still sniffling quietly and said, "Young master, there's someone outside asking for you. His name is Yinxi." The moment the words left his mouth, the infant stirred. With a burst of energy, he sat upright. His tiny arms and legs trembled slightly, and his swaddling clothes fluttered without a breeze, transforming in an instant into a robe of divine elegance and authority. A voice rang out, clear and commanding, "Let Yinxi enter." The boy stared, mouth agape, and bolted to fetch the visitor. Yinxi was led through the gates of the Li family courtyard, but as soon as he stepped inside, the world changed. What had been an ordinary courtyard now seemed vast and majestic, stretching high and wide like a heavenly palace. In the very center, a colossal golden lotus bloomed out of the ground with a gentle whoosh. Upon that shimmering throne sat a figure, glorious, radiant, and towering several meters high. It was Lord Lao in his true divine form. His entire body gleamed with celestial white gold light, so bright it hurt to look at. A sacred halo circled his head. He wore a crown adorned with 7 stars, robes woven from the light of dawn, and a cloak shimmering with clouds of 9 colors. He was the picture of holy majesty. The 20-some members of the Li household were frozen in place, jaws slack, knees buckling in fear and awe. Was this really their crying baby? Lord Lao spoke. His voice echoed through the heavens and earth. I am the Supreme Lord Laozi. From the palace of Tiwei I descended, formed by the original breath of heaven and earth. Today, master and disciple reunite. What surprise is there in destiny fulfilled? Yinxi, trembling, eyes full of tears, fell to his knees with a thud. Master, it's truly you. I never imagined that in this life I would see your sacred face again. The Lord smiled, pleased by his disciple's devotion. Good child. When I departed from Hangu Pass, I did not take you along, for your cultivation was not yet ripe. Your heart was still tied to worldly affection, and your understanding of the Tao just beginning. So I left you here to purify yourself and wait. Now I see your breath is steady, your ki is refined. Purple energy surrounds your heart, and divine light shines upon your face. Your name is now recorded in the celestial registry. Your spirit echoes through the Taiji. You are ready. At his final word, the sky responded. Suddenly the heavens opened wide, and immortals filled the sky's celestial kings, divine generals, holy maidens riding on clouds of fragrance. The air shimmered with incense and flower petals. The Supreme Lord gave his decree. The 5 sovereigns and 4 divine elders descended to bear witness. Before the eyes of all, Yinxi was granted the imperial celestial scroll and given the sacred title, Master of Original Truth, ranking above the highest heavens, commanding 80,000 celestial beings. Yinxi's body glowed with divine radiance as he rose into the sky, respectfully taking his place beside Lord Liao's grand celestial chariot. And what of the Li family? They stood stunned in their courtyard, chickens clucking, dogs barking, until suddenly they too began to rise. House, animals, and all 20-some members floated skyward, lifted by divine power ascending into the heavens as immortal kin. Indeed, it was the ultimate version of that old saying, when one attains the Tao, even the chickens and dogs are blessed. The legend of the Supreme Lord Laozi doesn't end with one miracle, far from it. This ancient being, as vast as time itself, has appeared again and again throughout history, changing names and faces, but always working toward one thing: guiding the people of the mortal realm back to the Great Way. Let's now look at a few of the most famous moments when he revealed himself on earth. The Dragon and the Sage. Laozi meets Confucius. In the 16th year of King Jing of Zhou, even Confucius, the great sage himself, heard tales of Laozi's wisdom and sought him out for a lesson. What did the Supreme Lord say to the future teacher of millions? He spoke just 2 lines. The best merchant hides his treasures and appears poor. The person of highest virtue looks like a fool. Confucius didn't argue. He left deep in thought and later sighed to his disciples. I know how birds fly, how fish swim, and how beasts run. But dragons rise on the wind and ride the clouds. I cannot grasp them. Laozi, he is that dragon, foretelling a kingdom, the prophecy of Chen. In the 3rd year of King Lai of Zhou, Laozi wandered westward into the Qin state. There, Duke Shan of Chen asked him about the fate of his kingdom. Laozi gave him cryptic but powerful advice, then quietly left through the mountain pass. That kingdom, as it turned out, would one day rise to unite all of China, just as the prophecy had hinted. The river sage, teaching Anqi Sheng. During the Qin dynasty, Laozi took on another name, Master of the Riverbank. Disguised as a humble hermit, he wandered the shores of the Yellow River. There he met Anqi Sheng, a seeker of the Tao. Laozi passed on the ancient arts, guiding him toward immortality. And thus another chapter of Taoist wisdom was handed down. The Emperor and the Skywalker. Laozi teaches humility. In the Han Dynasty, Laozi appeared yet again, this time calling himself Si, the immortal of broad clarity. Now, Emperor Wen of Han was a proud ruler. He'd heard of Laozi and wanted to question him. But when he sent messengers to invite the sage to court, Laozi refused. The way is noble. It cannot be summoned across distance like a common servant. The emperor was insulted. I am the son of heaven, he declared. All under heaven belongs to the throne. Even great sages are still my subjects. So he rode out in person to confront this arrogant recluse. But when they met, Laozi didn't kneel. He simply smiled, then clapped his hands. Suddenly, whoosh! He rose straight into the air, more than 100 feet high, suspended in midair like a spirit of wind and cloud. From that height, he looked down and said, Your Majesty, look well. I touch neither heaven nor earth. I am not man, nor spirit, nor subject. What power do you have over me? The emperor stood frozen. For the first time, he saw his pride for what it was. He bowed low, humbled and trembling, and begged for forgiveness. Only then did Laozi share with him the deeper mysteries of the Tao, teachings that would later be inscribed as the core of the Tao Te Ching. A saint in every dynasty, Laozi's everlasting presence. After that, Laozi kept showing up dynasty after dynasty, leaving behind sacred texts, prophecies, and heavenly laws. In Emperor Cheng of Han's reign, he appeared at Qingyang Spring and revealed the heavenly records of all under heaven. In Emperor Zhang's time, he granted the 188 divine precepts, moral laws for practitioners. To Emperor An of Han, he delivered a new system of sins and blessings, laying out karma for the faithful. To Zhang Daoling, the first celestial master, he gave the great three-cavern scripture system, founding the Taoist tradition as we know it. In the time of Emperor Huan, he appeared at Tiantai Mountain and passed on the 8 cavern sutras, vital to the Shangqing sect. In the reign of Emperor Ming, he appeared on Mount Song to transmit refined scriptures. Even centuries later, during the Tang dynasty, Laozi wasn't finished. Foretelling empires, the Tang connection. In the 2nd year of Tang Emperor Gaosu's reign, a man named Shangxing met an old man dressed in white at Mount Yangxiao. The old man gave him a message. Tell the crown prince of Tang, the Supreme Lord Lao is your ancestor. Emperor Gaozu was shocked. He quickly built temples to honor the Taoist patriarch. Later, Emperor Jisung granted Laozi the title of Supreme Mysterious Primordial Emperor, and Emperor Xuanzong himself annotated the Tao Te Ching, placing it at the heart of Tang imperial philosophy. From being a hidden sage to becoming the ancestor of emperors, such was the transformation of Laozi in the mortal world, the everlasting one, before creation and after destruction. The Supreme Lord Lao is no ordinary deity. He is said to have existed before the universe was born, and will remain long after it fades into dust. He does not always appear, but never disappears. When the world loses its way, he descends to show the light. He is the dragon you never quite see, but always feel. And beyond the Supreme Lord, another Taoist pioneer. Before we end, there's one more name to remember. Master Wan Chu, an early Taoist who gained the Tao by taking an elixir called the life-governing pill. By the end of the Shang dynasty, he was over 1,000 years old. He passed his formula to his student Zhang Ruoshan, who lived to 100 but looked like a teenager. Even the legendary Peng Zhu, said to have lived over 800 years, came to him for guidance. Wan Chu taught him 3 secret recipes for long life, all of which entered the lore of Taoist alchemy. So now, dear listeners, you've heard how the Supreme Lord Lao and sages like Wan Chu brought the Tao to earth, touching emperors and hermits alike, founding a tradition that echoes to this very day. Lord Lao takes form to guide the lost. Yinxi ascends and grasps the source. Fate fulfilled at the market of the blue sheep. The true classic shall shine for 10,000 years. To know what happens next, stay tuned for the next chapter. Next, the Tao crosses continents, prophecies of East and West, and the mysteries of the golden armor.